Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the stream. I hope everyone is having a really good day. It is so hot here. I'm looking, it is 26.9 degrees Celsius in the office. So I have a little fan right beneath me. So my hair might be blowing around quite a bit, but it's hot. I don't like it when it gets this hot. It's usually not this hot. Is it hot where you guys are? So today I'm excited to do a video on something that I really fell down the rabbit hole. Hey, Mr. Ranger Lab. I really fell down the rabbit hole about this. Usually I wouldn't care about this. I was just like so enthralled by it and I wanted to look more into it. There was a big soccer tournament called the Copa America that was held. The final was held in Miami, and it was a really, really dangerous situation where thousands of fans either rushed the gate, and a lot of them got in without tickets, without going through security, and people also like climbed up walls, up fences, through ventilation systems to get into the game, which is so dangerous. And I can't even imagine all like the different things that could have happened with all of these people getting into a massive sporting event, a sold out sporting event without tickets, even with tickets. I'll go through it. I'll go through it. A lot of people got into the game without going through security, which is dangerous. Obviously, it's very, very dangerous. And we're going to go into all the details. Oh, I have lots of friends. Yay. Hey, Tanya. 3 days of extreme heat warnings, but supposed to break overnight. This is until next week. Yeah, it's hot. It's hot, hot, hot. Oh, hey, Tori. Elaine says, same here. Thunderstorms are helping. That's good that thunderstorms are helping. I was doing a bit of testing on my bike. Ooh, so cool that you're a big biker, Neil. Me and my husband, we love biking. It is one of our favorite hobbies for sure. All right. Thank you guys for joining. You know, this is another random topic, but I fell down a rabbit hole yesterday and I had to talk about it. So first we're going to watch a news thingy about, Copa America chaos raises international soccer safety concerns. Please note, never watched a soccer game in my life. I know nothing about soccer. This is more about security for major sporting events. All right, let's watch.
Hours before the Copa America final between Colombia and Argentina, utter chaos at Hard Rock Stadium just outside of Miami, as thousands of fans, many without tickets, surged through the gates.
We waited. So fans surging through the gates. I looked into this a little bit too, decided not to include it, but there is such a thing as crowd surging, where it's like the people move through the crowd like a wave, and all it takes is a few people at the very back bumping into someone in front of them, and then everyone just kind of heaves forward. And I learned, my husband showed me this, the video, that if you get knocked over, you should get yourself in the fetal position and cover your head if you get knocked over. And I'm sure we've all been in sold out sporting events before in a calm crowd with people moving slowly and carefully, and still felt a lot of anxiety and stress just because of the sheer number of people. But with stampedes like that, what we just saw, people can get trampled and people can die. Like, people can die. It's serious. And we're going to see more of how people got into the stadium. It is so wild, for sure.
The organizers got themselves together to let people inside the stadium while scanning tickets, but they didn't do that.
The wave overwhelmed staff and police. 27 people were arrested. No serious injuries were reported.
We have tickets! We have tickets!
Many legitimate ticket holders never got inside.
The video that I saw on Facebook that actually made me fall down this rabbit hole. A woman was outside of the stadium with ticket holders like this man saying, how much money did you spend on tickets? And you can't even get in. And someone said $15,000 on 6 tickets, 2,000, 5,000, because the resale value of the tickets was like 1,400 at least. So thousands and thousands of people were not able to get into the stadium even with their tickets. And then, as we could see, people were rushing the gates. People were climbing through. Did we see the ventilation systems yet? People climbed through ventilation. I don't know if it shows it in this one. People climbed through the ventilation. And my thing that I kept thinking about was, you go through security at major sporting events to make sure you're not bringing anything dangerous in. What if someone were to bring in like drugs or a weapon or a bomb when you have 65,000 people all together? Security is important. So you have thousands of people who got in without going through security and who, like, you don't know what they brought in. And assuming, like, if they had bad intentions other than just sneaking into a game illegally, right? Where they shouldn't have been doing. If they had bad intentions, it could have ended catastrophically. Can't talk.
I cannot get in because they are not even scanning, and it's very, very disappointing.
It wasn't just the gate. Fans climbed walls, even entered through air ducts. CONMEBOL.
Did you see that? Entered through air ducts. Air ducts.
All the South American Soccer Federation staging this tournament in various U.S. cities pushed the game's start time back by 90 minutes, but said little else.
They're the most responsible.
My first instinct was it needs to be canceled. You have thousands of people without going through security. It needs to be canceled because the safety of the people there is the most important. And I told my husband and my mom this, and they both said, well, how are you going to get all of those people out of the stadium safely if you're going to cancel it, right? So I don't really know what the right solution is. I'm thinking back to times when I went to a sold out sporting events with 50, 60,000 people, and there's security everywhere. There's like thousands of security guards, and we go through metal detectors. You take out your bag and they take everything out. There's major restrictions on what kind of bags you can bring in, right? And the crowds move so slowly because there's so many security guards at every gate, every entrance, that it takes forever to get in, right? And in the other articles, I saw that there was another festival nearby and there was no crowd control on the streets. So people were going from the festival, just walking right into a major sporting event. This is why I don't do those things anymore. I was super anxious when I was on the floor at a Taylor Swift concert. For sure. It's outrageous. I'm hot already. Oh my goodness. This is not a good sign. Camera off for a second. It's hot. This may be way too loud. If it's right beside me, I don't need it. Super crazy. Okay, let's see how much of this is being picked up by my mic. Just a little bit. Okay, tell me if it's too loud and I'll move the fan. Okay, let's watch more.
Because they are the variable here. When you look at Super Bowls and F1 races that happen at this same venue in Miami, we just don't see those same scenes.
This wasn't the first security incident. After the semifinal, players from Uruguay rushed into the stands to fight fans from
Thank you, Tanya.
Colombia.
What was absolutely clear was that we had the kind of breakdown of safety and security.
Experts say there's lessons to be learned ahead of the 2026 World Cup, which will see Toronto and Vancouver host 13 games, including plans for the inevitable arrival of fans without tickets.
I don't know if any of you have been to Vancouver before, but the football stadium, where I'm assuming is where the soccer games will be, I have an article about it. BC Place. Yeah. Okay. that stadium is right smack in the middle of downtown. There is so much foot traffic. There's so many cars that are in that area because it's literally in the core of downtown. So I wonder, this lesson, like from this, we learn that we need to have crowd control outside of the stadium as well, and people shouldn't be able to just walk right up without a ticket. The windblown look is good for you. Thank you. And Mr. Ranger Lab can't hear it. Perfect. Yeah, it is scary for sure. Same here. Same here.
They need to know, for example, that they're not going to be able to get right up to the stadium because there's going to be an outer security perimeter. Or they need to know that there are going to be certain bars that are going to be open. There are places that they can go without tickets.
Officials in Toronto say they're looking at what happened in Miami to ensure venues are safe when the world visits in less than 2 years. Jamie Strachan.
Yeah, you gotta be safe. So I have 2 drinks here because it's hot as fuck, and I figured I was gonna get really, really hot and thirsty. Okay, I was talking to my husband about this, and he's like, well, it's Vancouver. No one cares about soccer in Vancouver. It's not going to be that big of a deal. But thinking there are probably people who like soccer in Vancouver, and there are people probably who are traveling from the United States and obviously different parts of the world who would come to Vancouver. So it might not be 65,000 people all converged onto downtown, but I still think Vancouver would draw a huge crowd for the World Cup because the World Cup is in 2026. So that's a quick introduction to the incident. So this is BBC. We're going to read this article. Copa America, that party that almost became a tragedy. Oh, and I didn't even touch on the fact that in the semifinal game, there's like fighting in the crowd as well. And I think when we have 65,000 people all together, you need to have an abundance of security, because even the time that I was in a sold out sports crowd that was moving slowly and calmly, doesn't take much for a crowd of that size to become extremely, extremely dangerous. Okay, hosted by the United States in some of the biggest and best stadiums in the world, the tournament was beset by problems. It featured poor pitches, half-empty stadiums, and crowd trouble before ending in chaotic scenes on Sunday. The final between Argentina and Colombia was delayed by 80 minutes after ticketless fans forced their way into Miami's Hard Rock Stadium. Okay, let's finish this section, then I'll talk. Arrests were made after clashes with police and security personnel, while several supporters needed treatment from paramedics. It was far from the showpiece the organizers hoped for and raised concerns before the 2026 World Cup, set to be co-hosted by US, Canada, and Mexico. And again, I already acknowledged that it'd be really hard to get people out of the stadium if you cancel the whole event or reschedule it for the next day, that thousands of people trespassed, assuming it was only people without tickets, because I assume it could have been people who had tickets and who weren't able to get in and got really mad, right? But the people who didn't have tickets, the people who scaled walls, they did not have right to access that stadium, and they trespassed and they broke the law. So we let the game continue when we knew that there were thousands and thousands of people who trespassed, who broke the law to see the soccer game. Yes, the World Cup is a shit show. Yes, they do, for sure. The dynamics of crowds and crowd control can both be interesting and very, very scary. 100%. Again, at that sporting event that I was at, we were trying to get to our seats. People were trying to come the other way, and it's scary. And it was calm because people literally just walk into your body and you have nowhere to go. So I could just imagine if that crowd turned into a stampede, I don't know what I would have done. There was a fence nearby. Maybe I could have tried to get to the fence and then climbed up the fence. Aw, fair, Tori. I've developed such bad social anxiety that just seeing that I would have been seeking higher ground while crying. Same. So scary. And Okay, the crowd control at the final was just one issue, as we saw shitty refs, shitty pitch quality. It was just not a good stage, not a good tournament all around. There's a lot of criticism on CONMEBOL, the South American Football Federation. Problems were apparent in the opening game between Argentina and Canada. Argentina coach Lionel Scaloni and players from both teams complained about the condition of the pitch in Atlanta. 11 of the 14 venues were NFL stadiums, and 6 of them had grass pitches installed over an artificial surface. In some cases, the turf was laid just days before. CONMEBOL said they carried out tests on the quality of the pitch. Real Madrid forward, I don't know who this person is, Vinicius Jr., he criticized both the standard of the pitches and the refereeing. I already talked about how Uruguay players and Colombian fans fought each other in the stands after the semifinal. So scary. The Uruguay Football Federation said there was insufficient security measures in place at the game in Charlotte, and the fans were not segregated. Apparently, in some soccer, I feel like this is bothering me now. I wish I had like a stool. Sorry. Apparently, in some soccer games, fans are segregated. They can be segregated. So it's like Uruguay fans are together and Colombian fans are together. And most of the games were sold out. The crowds were below capacity. So shitty sales as well. The average cost was estimated for tickets was estimated to be about $200. But of course, during the reselling of the tickets, it was like thousands and thousands of dollars. How many of these people are under the influence of intoxicant substances or alcohol or both? It's literally a power keg with the fuse lit. Oh, for sure. For sure. You need a neck fan or something. I know, it's so hot. It's reached 27 in here. And we already saw that people broke into the ventilation to get into the soccer game. Okay, so apparently Colombia coach complained about Shakira performing because the halftime was going to be 25 minutes instead of 15. That happens though. Like every final game, the halftime between periods can be longer because you have some fancy performer. Okay, so here's the big part. CONMEBOL issued a statement saying that only ticket holders would be allowed to enter the stadium campus before the 8 o'clock local kickoff time. But as the scheduled kickoff time approached, a statement from a stadium spokesperson said that thousands of ticketless fans had attempted to forcibly enter the stadium, which has a capacity of 65,000. Footage shows fans breaching the stadium gates, climbing over perimeter walls and fencing, and even through ventilation ducts. The stadium statement later explained that as gates were closed and reopened strategically, some fans continued to engage in illegal conduct, fighting police officers, breaking down walls and barricades, and vandalizing the stadium. It became overcrowded outside the stadium, with fans waiting in 31-degree heat, and a joint decision was made for a short period to allow fans in without scanning tickets. Did they have to go through security? That's my question, because if not, that is extremely dangerous. My AC wasn't working last night. Oh, so my apartment was literally over 85 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Oh my goodness. So a lot of the fans, the players' family, were stuck in the chaos as well. So this picture is just outrageous to me. This is a close-up of the stampede. I see 2 children there looking kind of scared, 2 little kids. I see someone's leg. I see a woman on the floor. You can't see my mouse. I see a woman on the floor. I see a woman on the floor here. Like, people can die. People can smack their head off the ground. People can be trampled. And I have thoughts. Because maybe you want a ticket, you couldn't get a ticket, or you couldn't afford it, right? And you are wanting to get into the soccer game. I don't understand how one would be encouraged to behave like this, right? Oh, look, all these people are breaking down the barricades. I'm going to do that too. Oh, wait, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. This is really scary and dangerous. Let me just get out of the way and let everybody run by, right? Oh, other people are climbing through vents. That's trespassing. I could go to jail. Maybe I shouldn't climb through the vents. But maybe it's also, like Mr. Ranger Lab said, it's kind of related, right? Like crowd dynamics. If the majority is doing one thing, maybe you feel like it's the right thing to do, or you're really just caught up in the excitement and the adrenaline of it, and you don't really think about whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing, or whether you or your kids are in danger, right? And it's not in the overcrowding, it's the stampeding the gates. You're stampeding the gates. It's not an overcrowding. Oh, yes, it's a group think scenario for sure. You follow the crowd because it's instinct. Totally. Officials are working on a protocol review with World Cup 2 years away. Good, as they should be. James Reyes, chief of public safety for Miami-Dade County, said more than 800 law enforcement officers were present at the stadium. Was that before the Stampedes took place, or was that like before the game started, before people were let in? Last night, our law enforcement teams responded swiftly to handle an extremely challenging, dangerous situation, posing life safety concerns for attendees. Yes, exactly. We are working with event organizers to conduct a comprehensive review of all safety and security protocols. Apparently, there were 27 arrests made and 55 people were ejected from the stadium. Yeah, okay, true. You may just be pushed along and not have a choice or ability to do anything about it. Okay, that's very fair. Okay, a number of law enforcement officers and security personnel on site was more than double that for regular sellout events. Well, must not have been enough. And how come when we saw the gates that people were rushing, there was no security? There was like, where was the metal detectors, right? Where were the where were those? Because I didn't see any of them in all of the freaking research I was doing for this. So apparently they're going to work with disappointed ticket holders who couldn't get in. But are they going to get refunds? Because they spent thousands of dollars through Ticketmaster, through resale tickets, and they didn't get to see the game they spent thousands of dollars for. Okay. Cannonball said in a statement, "We regret the acts of violence caused by malicious individuals have tarnished a final that was ready to be a great sports celebration. Also suggested procedures to stadium." Cannonball said it suggested procedures to stadium security organizers that were not taken into account. Oh, so we're blaming the stadium, friends. Cannonball. I think it falls on the organizers of the fucking tournament because, yeah, I'm kind of split because I see, where was the security? There should have been a really heavy security presence with metal detectors and police and like highly trained security guards for such a high profile event. And then I'm also thinking, okay, well, people shouldn't be behaving like this. This is like dangerous and unlawful. You know? Oh, I went down such a rabbit hole with this. I'm scouring the Google right now to see how the local PD handled this. When a team wins, people riot. Wasn't there riots in Vancouver for hockey? Vancouver riots hockey. Why do people riot about sports? Please note, this is just Wikipedia. 2011 Vancouver Stanley Cup riot. The downtown core of Vancouver, British Columbia. Okay, on June 15th, 2011, a riot broke out almost immediately after the conclusion of the Boston Bruins' victory over the Vancouver Canucks. 150 people were injured during the incident, including 4 by stabbing. Why do sports cause us to act so terribly? On the night of the riot, nearly 100 arrests were made by Vancouver police, including 85 for breach of peace, 8 for public intoxication, and 8 for criminal code offenses such as assault and theft. 4 years after the riot, police completed their investigation and recommended final charges against 2 suspects, bringing the total to 887 charges against 301 people. $4 million in damage. $4 million. And look, smoke billowing from fires in downtown Vancouver. Apparently, there was a 1994 Stanley Cup riot as well. Okay. Oh, this was in Edmonton? Was this in Edmonton? Edmonton Oiler fans set fires and looted in the White Avenue area of Edmonton when the team qualified for the 2006 finals. Montreal was vandalized by Montreal Canadiens fans after the 1986 and 93 titles and during the 2008 and 2010 playoffs. Why do so many people riot because of sports? They literally set cars on fire. Oh my goodness gracious. It's both the individual and people in charge responsibilities, in my opinion. There have been lots of lessons learned from these types of crowd disasters. Exactly. Exactly, for sure. Okay. Okay, so this is Toronto Sun, Toronto Star. Okay. It's because Toronto is going to be hosting a lot of the World Cup games in 2026. I'm glad I got 2 drinks. Okay. So here's that picture with the fucking now you can see my mouse. Child, someone's leg. Like who does this leg belong to? There's a woman down here, right? There's a woman there. Like there's just body parts everywhere. What if that man like fell on top of that woman and then that woman like has a concussion, right? There's so much danger in just this picture. Outrageous. 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 Okay. So this is what I wanted. For the Men's World Cup to be co-hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico, the solution goes beyond increasing security staff at the venue. It calls for collaboration among host cities, countries, and organizers, yes, as well as rigorous screening of fans who plan to attend. You go to a stadium in Europe, for example, and there are turnstiles with security airport style way before getting to the actual stadium. You cannot go through these turnstiles without having your ticket, and it's one person at a time. North America is really serious about promoting soccer and its lifestyle. We have to look at our stadiums and how we manage ingress and egress for the stadiums. 6 games are scheduled for BMO Field, and the downtown venue will undergo reservations to meet FIFA requirements, increasing capacity from about 31,000 for soccer to at least 45,000. So in the sporting event that I went to, we did not need to show our tickets to get near the stadium, but there was a bunch of doors and you had to show your ticket and then you went through the metal detector, and then you took out all the shit from your bag, and they would like search your stuff. So you showed your ticket, metal detector, search your stuff. Exactly. Why would you bring children to an event you don't have tickets for? Exactly. The turnstiles way before time with lots of security were lessons learned from very bad experiences. Yeah, good points. But I like the idea of having a security perimeter around the stadium, so you have to show your ticket before you even get near the stadium, right? But how many turnstiles would you have to have if it's just one at a time? You need to have like hundreds and hundreds. And then you get through that turnstile, then you go through rigorous security before you get into the stadium. I hate these random ads. FIFA guidelines also call for host venues to establish an outer perimeter some distance away from the stadium. This is usually where searches and screenings take place and can be the first checkpoint for tickets and accreditations. Parents said Toronto and other host cities, including Vancouver, should learn from previous World Cups and schedule rigorous test runs for all procedures to see if they work. There's no perfect stadium. You don't want to take the risk of having to wait until last minute and then be scrambling. Toronto officials are on board with learning from the past. The incidents at yesterday's Copa America Championship match were unfortunate, and the City of Toronto will look at lessons from the organizers to build on our plans for safe FIFA World Cup 26 in Toronto. The city is actively developing comprehensive security plans to ensure all participants and spectator safety and security throughout the tournament. Our efforts aim to create a secure environment that upholds public safety while enhancing the experience of this prestigious event. So at least, like Mr. Ranger Lab has said, we're learning lessons from a circumstance that could have, or an experience that could have been much, much worse than it actually was. There could have been really bad injuries. Children could have been sent to the hospital. People could have died from the stampedes, from climbing over walls. Someone could have fallen. And also the danger of potentially thousands of people getting into the stadium without going through security. Who knows what they brought in? It could have been a catastrophe. So we're going to learn from that experience to just make sure that our stadiums are more secure moving forward, especially FIFA. FIFA's huge. It's huge. I'm glad it's not in my city, for sure. I've read a bit on the history of safety lessons. Oh, it's been an interest of mine. I'd like to know the why of stuff like this. Oh, how cool. How cool. I love that. So, how do you read up on something like that? Can you, like, something to Google? Are there, like, safety scholars? Because I did see that there was a stalker crowd expert. So maybe there's literature about like the crowd aspect out there. I'm gonna do more research. That's cool. Is this the Vancouver one? Yes. Okay. So now Vancouver is learning some lessons before they host their games as well. Oh yeah, so the game was delayed for over an hour. Yes. In less than 2 years, Vancouver's BC Place is slated to play host to 7 games in the Men's World Cup, and security is expected to be the key concern and major cost driver. Security expert Jim Hayes with Guidepost Solutions said planners should keep the scenes in Miami in mind as they gear up for those games. The one thing we're still learning about in the United States is the passion that these international soccer fans bring to the matches when you are pitting countries against each other. Sure, but we've seen that local sports fans in Canada and the United States can also destroy their cities and behave terribly. So it's not just international fans, my friend. It's not. We are going to have to increase the security profile for these events types of events and treat them as they are. They are global events with massive magnitude and reach. In a statement Monday, BC's Ministry of Tourism, Arts, Culture and Sport said it was working with the City of Vancouver, Vancouver Police, and RCMP. BC Place is a world-renowned event hosting venue and has a long history of safe event delivery. Many detailed plans are taking shape with regards to crowd management and preparations for the flows we anticipate. Good. In April, the BC government revealed that the cost to host the World Cup has essentially doubled and were estimated at about $483 million and $581 million. The financial implications of tournament security remain unclear, and the federal government has said security will be among the services it provides. Good. Okay, so we're all learning things. So just 1 second, friends. I'm hot. It is hot. My computer's being silly. So Conan Ball blamed the stadium security for what happened. And then the stadium is like, nuh-uh, it's not all our fault. It's more like reading or looking up infamous disasters or accidents, what went wrong, and what rules came about because of this. Oh, cool. Love that. That's so interesting. This is an article from France, somewhere in France. So Hard Rock Stadium defended the security measures in place for Sunday's Copa America final after Conan Ball accused the venue of ignoring advice that may have prevented the chaotic incidents that held up the game. So, there you go. So look at this. Fans were trying to get through the gates, and a couple security guys were like, oh, hell no. So look at the chaos. Look at all these people. So dangerous. So dangerous. Okay. Conan Ball said, we regret the acts of violence produced by malicious... Okay, we already saw that. Stadium officials Tuesday said that security measures were jointly decided by the venue, Conan Ball, and local law enforcement. Hard Rock Stadium has safely hosted hundreds of world-class events in its 37-year history, including Super Bowls, major international soccer matches, Formula One, NFL and college football, headline concert tours, and other global events. In each of those, security was a joint effort among the organizer, law enforcement agencies, and the venue. As we previously said, Hard Rock Stadium worked collaboratively with Conan Ball, I don't know how to say this acronym, CONCACAF, and local law enforcement agencies. The agencies met regularly, including daily security briefings throughout the month-long tournament Hard Rock Stadium implemented, and in many cases exceeded Conan Ball security recommendations throughout the tournament and the final. The disturbing scenes before the final raised concerns for the 2026 World Cup, which will be co-hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico. We already learned they detained 27 and ejected 55. So it's interesting how Conan Ball was trying to blame the stadium. And then the stadium says, look, we met with you throughout the entire event. We planned this together. It's also on you. So who is it on? Like, we talked about this already, but the individual needs to have a sense of responsibility and act lawfully and safely. The soccer federation needs to have proper organization. Like, there were issues with this whole tournament. From the quality of the grass to the quality of the reffing, and then the stadium itself needs to have proper security measures in place. So all of that combined led to a really, really dangerous situation. Post-Titanic, rules were changed to provide number of lifeboat space for everyone on board. Oh, previously it was formula that eventually didn't take into account the size of ocean liners. Oh, how cool. The size of liners / number of passengers gradually outgrew the formula, and the regs didn't keep up. Oh. So it was, yeah, lifeboat space for everyone on board, which makes sense. Because if you're going down, you need everyone to have a spot, right? So I'm looking through what I have, and it looks like I might be done. There's another video we could watch on this. I don't know if this is like repetitive, repeating what we already saw, because I can't remember, but let's watch this one, and then we can be done, and then we can go about our evening. They should have actual law enforcement at the venue and at the organizer's expense have qualified people for actual crowd control. Like maybe, it looks like there's police. Okay, counterterrorism, that's good. Actual police, but maybe like not just security, maybe really highly trained police, right? Who are experts in crowd control. Don't worry. Yeah, I've also been getting into random topics too. It's really fun to dive into a specific area of interest. Okay, let's see this video. Okay, that's loud. Look at the amount of people. That's outrageous. So all those people got in without going through security. Like where are the metal detectors? Can you see my mouse? Like, are these the metal detectors? These potentially could be the metal detectors, but I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people just there got in without going through security. And look at all of these people out here. So dangerous. These security guards are minimum wage workers, often taking these jobs to get paid to be at an event they want to see. For sure, for sure. And then they eventually just gave up. And then all these people just ran through the gates, I'm assuming without going through security. Who knows what they brought into the stadium? Who knows? Who knows?
What is going on here? People are getting into the Copa America through the ventilation system. What is going on here? People are still climbing. It's like 9 p.m. here. People are climbing the fence. I don't know if they have tickets. I think more people are going there. I don't know.
And like, who is this person that all these big ass police officers are trying to like get to stop, right? And these police officers, it's not necessarily their fault that this is happening, right? And like they're putting their lives in danger too. Like they're putting their lives in danger to do a job. It's not only the attendees who are breaking the law, it's the police who are at risk too. And it's just like so much danger. It's like so much uncontrolled crowd flow that could have easily turned to be a horrible, horrible disaster. Yeah. And I don't know, I think other research I looked into this, there was like police came in, like there were cars driving up to the stadium, but I wonder, they said 800, which doesn't seem like that much, 800 police officers, but did more people come in to support them when it turned into this? Yeah, go to a fucking bar and watch it with your friends at the bar. Like, why are we risking our lives and breaking the law to see a game? Just go to a bar. And I feel really bad for the people who spend thousands of dollars who, like, one article, which I decided not to read it. Their twin 8-year-olds to this game to see their favorite player, and they traveled a long way for it. And they were so excited to experience it as a family. They walked up to the gate. They were told it was closed. They couldn't get in, and thankfully they left before it got violent. But imagine the disappointment they had. People who actually had tickets were excited to have a good experience, a good look at my blur. We're excited to have a good memory, good experience with their families, and then they couldn't even get in. Like, imagine the disappointment with that. The officers and guards are way outnumbered. Exactly. So how should we research that? Proportion of security guards to attendee? Medium events, 1 to 500 attend. Okay. For medium-sized events, 2 to 5 security guards are recommended. Okay, what? As a rule of thumb, consider having 1 guard for every 75 to 100 attendees. How would I figure that out? 1 guard for every 75 to 100 attendees. What I do, it was 65,000 people were in the stadium divided by 100. Right? Right? I want to know how many times. Okay, so apparently they weren't that outnumbered, because I just googled proportion of security guards to attendee, 1 guard for every 75 to 100 attendees, but that's for large events of 500 plus attendees. That's not a large event for sporting event. Okay, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The point is that they needed more support. There needed to be support from other agencies or cities come in. Highly trained security people needed to be there to control the flow of the crowd, and they didn't get that, right? And there was not like adapting the approach the day of, unfortunately. And I'm just going off the capacity number. I'd be livid too if I brought my fucking children to a soccer game and I couldn't actually go in. I'd be so upset. Okay, so that's all I have for today. Sorry for the randomness of this video, but I went down a rabbit hole and I wanted to talk about this. And I'm glad that some friends watched with me, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm not going to be going live this weekend, but I'll go live again I'll go live again next Wednesday, and we'll do a less random video topic. And yeah, it was really fun, and I appreciate you guys being here. We are Monday morning quarterbacking. What do you mean? I don't know what that means. That's okay. Yay, I'm glad you liked it, Tanya. Thank you so much. So thank you, guys. I hope you have a great evening, and I'll see you next week.